Alrighty, we are back, and we're keeping it all in the family. We've got Billie Saebens here, who is no stranger to the National Finals Rodeo, and one of the foremost experts in healing steers. What's going on?
Man, not a lot.
Not a lot. He's also a man short for words, but he promised he would really talk tonight.
Well, I can talk about roping. That's easy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is your chosen career, but I mean, it has been a pretty interesting 4 nights of team roping. What do you think has kind of been the biggest factor here that you've seen kind of playing into what we've seen so far?
I just think it's so much different, the setup versus Vegas. At Vegas, headers kind of knew where they was going to throw out. They had a pretty good idea where the steer was going to be whenever they hit the barrier. And here, it seems like a lot of people aren't getting good goes. The steers right, left, running hard. Them steers
they're
first
booking
round
it
last night are really strong and really hard. And I think you'll see a lot, in Vegas when you start seeing the reruns. The steers pretty well stay the same, and about half of them I figure will stay the same. But I think that they're going to be, a steer that went straight the first time, he's going to take a couple steps to the right now or left or whatever. I don't think they're going to keep the same pattern that good. And I don't remember what round it was, but some of them going off to the right, man, the second, third run, they're just going to keep going over there to the right or to the left, whatever, and that's going to play a big factor in shaking it up. And then 2, come back in the 10th round on those strong steers they run last night. It's not going to be easy for them guys in the average where they just need to go catch one. If you lay off a little bit, I think you can run down there and get yourself in a pickle. So I think the average will be – the 10th round will be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a race as well. And, I mean, we're seeing Dustin chucking rope from – he's all the way at home plate and he's throwing it to third base.
Yeah.
But the way that guy throws a rope, it's unbelievable. It's like there's a cannon attached to it.
And you think they won 2 rounds and 1 second in the other one, and he went faster last night. Like he has no fear. And it seems like in Vegas all the time, to win a world championship, you gotta kind of let your hair down the whole time. You can't ever lay up or do nothing, and I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to stay aggressive the whole time.
And he's got the right guy on the heel side to kind of give him that confidence to throw rope the way that he does. Too.
Yeah.
And Travis is solid.
Yeah, super solid. He's been doing it for, I think he's been 12 times or something, 13 maybe, and he won't rope too many more legs. Dustin almost, for a healer, but he almost got it on him too fast last night. If he took another swing, they probably still would have won the round or been close to it, but man, them steers are strong, and it's just hard to outrun that head rope.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely, and you're seeing that a lot. I mean, the first night, gosh, I think we saw more misses and more single legs in the first night probably than we've seen total the rest of the rodeo, just because I don't think guys were figuring out what it was going to be like.
And just not knowing those steers. Those steers have been the strongest set that I've seen at the NFR. I mean, and a lot of it has to do because of the barrier being longer, so they seem stronger than they are in Vegas, but they're tough. They're really hard.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that they specifically tried to grab steers like that just because of the size of this arena?
Well, I think that's just what they try to do at the NFR every year. But in Vegas, like I say, with the barriers 4 under and a little bitty arena, those steers are really strong, and they don't always look it on TV, but like the gates open, they've trained them to be leaving and running and the whole deal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's kind of funny, right? Because you would, if you don't know team roping that well and you look at the setup, you wouldn't think that there would be a problem. But those buck and shoots are kind of posing.
You can't fault what he did. It was an amazing job.
Yeah.
It was so fast. But he little too much rope out there and didn't give TG time to get there. And then he gets in the fence. And, I mean, if TG happens to be there when the turn comes and heels him, they're 3-6 probably. But, man, that's just hard. That's really hard to do.
Yeah.
For a healer,
No, absolutely. I mean, it's
but
crazy.
That's a healer thing to say, like, hey, you're getting it on him too fast. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? That was an amazing job. And TG probably, I mean, if you asked him, he would say he should have got around there and healed him. But one more swing maybe, and they still fast. And maybe it's a little
probably
easier.
what's going to happen tonight is he's probably just going to leave a little early so that he's there sooner.
Well, that's another thing, though, too. You step them left a little bit. I mean, and that's the hard part because I've done it the last 2 years is healing for reachers. You can't leave early and step them because when the barrier pulls, they're throwing, and if you move the steer as they're throwing, they're going to miss.
Yep.
And then you got that, then you got the buck and shoots over there, so you kind of got to give them a little bit of a head start to try to give them the chance to go straight, and then just work your butt off to get to the right spot.
Yeah, I mean, and were you surprised just when they kind of announced the setup? You saw where they were going to be running team roping out. I mean, did you expect so many steers to run towards the fence like they are?
I expected them to be different. You know what I mean? Like I say, you can just expect them. They're trying to get away, and if like they've got away the first time going off to the right, they're going to keep doing it, and to the left or whatever. I didn't really expect them to be one way. I mean, you would think they'd go to the right, just kind of how the angle is where the strip and shoot is, but
Right.
but then and it all depends on the first run on them. If the heeler happens to leave real early and step him left, well, that one's probably going to go left the whole time. If the heeler's late and he gets in front of him and runs right, so I mean it's kind of however the first run goes on him, I think.
Right. No, absolutely. And it was interesting. It was interesting last night, the rounds. I mean, we saw Paul Eves throw a good loop, and they got him for crossface. But you watched what I watched. Did you see that? I mean, I really didn't.
Man, that's such a hard call. I mean, we have to have the crossfire rule, but I don't know. If you slowed it down, it was probably legal. I think the thing that hurt him the most was his top strand. He kind of went over the hip, and it looked like the steer swung into his loop more when it was just a really good loop. But that's the deal. We, as healers, that's just what we do. He I'm sure he's crossfired one before and gotten away with it. Well, this time
I paid his dues.
It went the other way. So that's just what we deal with, and everybody cusses him and this and that. But that's just what we got to deal with. So
yeah, I mean the judges have a tough job.
Yeah.
So I mean sometimes they do have to make that call. It's not something you see that often, especially
not too bad. Not too bad.
What do you think going forward? I mean we're at round 5 tonight. What do you think going forward is going to happen? Who do you think's the team that maybe has the most momentum? Dustin probably.
I mean, yeah,
Travis,
I picked him before the deal started. TG's never won a world title. He's won everything else, I think, probably. And I think it's time. And Dustin is fearless and really, really talented too. Yeah. And his horse, I mean, everything is set up for him, I think. But then again, I mean, you can't count out Clay Smith and Jade Corkle. They're, arguably the best there's ever been. And Clay Try and Jake Long, they haven't really made much noise yet, but both those guys are, warriors. They'll grind it out, and they'll win a lot too, I think. And, I mean, shoot, you could pick
anybody.
Yeah, Cody Snow, I can't believe they haven't won more either, but, I mean, they'll get tapped off here, and they'll start making some noise, I think.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, certainly Jade and them, I mean, they're kind of primed tonight to do some things, and they're probably going to see a lot more out of them going forward, because it just seems like they were a little cold starting, and now
they got nothing to lose. I mean, they kind of come in fairly close to the front. I don't know what the standings look like, but they've lost some ground, and now they just got to let their hair down and win as much as they can on every steer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, though, it's probably Dustin and Travis's deal to lose, but
there's still a lot left.
Rodeo.
Yeah, there's so much left and so much that can change. Though it'll come down to the average at the end. And if Dustin, I mean, it don't look like he's going to miss. If he catches them all, TG's going to surely at least get a leg. But I think it's theirs to lose. Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it. And I mean, a couple of great guys, and like you were saying with Travis, I mean, it is his time to get one. So.
Yeah. Well, and then too, Luke Brown and Joseph, though. I mean, he's the same deal as Travis. He's won everything and been so close. I don't know how many times he's been reserve world champ, but I mean, it's his time, and the standings got to be fairly close with him because they've been winning pretty good. And Joseph, he's going to keep throwing it fast, just like he does.
Yeah.
They'll win a lot, I think.
Yeah.
That'll be tough. It'll be between those two right now. That's what it's looking like.
Yeah. So. I mean, it's some of the funnest team roping to watch, though, just because of the setup and the barrier and just the guys who are in here this year. I mean, sometimes you get really used to certain people and watching these guys go. It's fun team roping.
Yeah. And it's going to come down to who's the smartest too, as we start getting down and taking good throws and not doing too crazy of stuff, but all those guys are smart. They do it every day. So I mean, there's no telling, but I think I think Dustin and Travis, I think they'll win it.
That's what I think
hope.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they just something about what they're doing. It just it seems really tough to stop them.
Well, Dustin looks so comfortable. I mean,
He does.
what
Yeah,
he's
he looks
doing,
like he's been here a million times.
and it don't look hard. It don't look what he's doing. Maybe nobody else in the world can do, and it just looks like
It's just like nothing.
just another day.
Yeah, I don't know what they fed him when he was growing up, but I mean, to throw a long rope like that, I just I think I said on one of the episodes. I mean, I've literally seen guys go and throw a pitch at a baseball game who couldn't throw a ball as far as he's throwing
he
a rope.
freaking smokes it on the horns. Yeah,
It's amazing so quickly that you don't see the rope leave. You just see, okay, he's dallied.
Well, good job.
Yep, it's fun. That must be nice.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to watching the rodeo, guys. It's going to start here pretty quick, and thank you, Billy, for your expert analysis. That's more words than I've ever heard you say since I've known you, so that was nice.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, thanks. Stay tuned. If you like hunting, fishing, back roads, family farms, ice-cold beer, bonfire nights, old pickup trucks, dogs, no cats, and mud on your boots, it's because, like me, you're cut from Rule Cloth. Rule is a hard word to say, but it's the clothing brand for you. The brand sets out to make quality apparel for the rural American and all of us. We recently did a podcast with Brandon Bates, who is the founder of Rule Cloth, to talk about how this vision was for this business, how they started it. Here's the best thing, guys. Because it's Christmas, because we want to support small businesses, they have set up a coupon code for the duration of the National Finals Rodeo. Use that coupon code GAUGE at checkout for 20% off, again, for the entire National Finals Rodeo. Let's say you're not here. Let's say you live under a rock. Let's say you didn't know anything about rodeo until right this second. Okay, you missed the NFR. I'm sorry. That sucks for you. It's been awesome. 10% for the duration of the month from Rule Cloth. Again, same coupon code GAUGE at checkout. Get some of the great things like the We Grow Beer hat or the Little Red Rooster jacket that Mr. Kid Rock wears all the time. Rule Cloth. Guys, let's flex our Second Amendment rights. Bailey's House of Guns is the only people I will buy firearms from at this point, and I'm telling you, I'm getting an arsenal built up thanks to them and their heavy levels of stock. They've got more guns in stock than most places have had the entire year. They've made strategic moves to make sure that they have guns for you. Benelli Shotguns, Weatherby, Christensen Arms, Smith & Wesson, the very same guns they provide for the Texas State Police Department. Those are the ones. These guys have been in business since 1970. They know firearms and the firearm business better than anybody. Give Bailey's House of Guns a call, 713-433-2475 for more details. Here's the great news. You can't find a gun in your local state? No problem. Use your local FFL. Have Bailey ship the gun you bought, and you're taken care of. Again, Bailey's House of Guns, the only place the Gauge Podcast and crew will get their firearms.